UFOs are a term that in the modern world has become inextricably linked with aliens. However, if we look at its definition, we find that an unidentified flying object refers to any object in the sky that cannot be identified by the observer. Nevertheless, the origin of most UFOs indeed defies explanation, and these objects are nothing like human-made inventions. We know of many cases of mysterious UFO sightings from the ground, but in this video, I offer you a collection of photos and video clips taken from great heights by airplane passengers. Enjoy watching. In 2019, a passenger on a Ryanair flight from Dublin to Paris recorded a strange UFO. The dark flying object resembled a giant tadpole in shape. The man noticed the phenomenon through the window as the plane flew over the English Channel and decided to capture it on his smartphone. He noted that the mysterious object didn't look like a natural phenomenon. The footage gained many views. In the video, a dark object with a rounded, head-like front and a long tail-like extension can be seen stretching across the sky. It's hard to tell whether it was moving or stationary, but the author claimed that the UFO made quick movements before he took out his smartphone to start filming. Later, in an interview, the passenger recounted what happened during the flight. According to him, he was simply gazing out the window when a strange object appeared, moving and spinning rapidly. When he grabbed his phone to record, the object stopped and then disappeared. The man had never seen anything like it in his life. The video drew a lot of attention, but no one could determine what the object was. The mysterious tadpole didn't even resemble a traditional alien flying saucer, making its identification impossible. In recent times, unidentified flying objects have taken on increasingly astonishing forms. Perhaps the most impressive among them was a UFO captured on camera by Lucas Kim, a passenger on a Seoul-Bangkok flight. Lucas Kim was flying with Jeju Air for a vacation. The flight was uneventful, and the weather was perfect. He was enjoying the clear skies and clouds through his window when he noticed something strange in the sky, a glowing flying object. At first, he thought it might be another plane, but as someone who frequently flies, he had never seen another aircraft so close. Additionally, the glow of the object struck him as unusual. Realizing he was witnessing an extraordinary anomaly, Lucas took out his smartphone and began filming. He chose the perfect moment to record, as just seconds later, the flying object did something unimaginable. Lucas felt as though he was watching a drone light show. The glowing UFO began spinning rapidly and then split into multiple parts, first into 2 with 3 lights, and then into 6 parts. After this, the lights disappeared from view. The video became incredibly popular. Most viewers believed Lucas had the rare opportunity to witness an alien spacecraft splitting apart. However, skeptics suggested the video merely captured light reflections on the airplane window. In 2016, a resident of Lincoln, New Hampshire, witnessed an unusual incident. According to the man, he was sitting in his garden reading a book that day. When he heard the sound of a flying plane, he didn't think much of it since military planes and helicopters often flew over his house. However, this time, when he looked up at the sky, he noticed another flying object in the plane's contrail. The eyewitness decided to record the event on his smartphone and upload the footage online. He was certain it was not another plane. The footage shows an object shaped like a flying saucer that, unlike the airplane, left no contrail. It appeared to be pursuing the military plane, but why? The uploaded video gained numerous views. Most users suggested that it could indeed have been aliens monitoring the US military. But in that case, how did the pilots fail to notice the strange object following them? Or were they aware of it? Some users also speculated that it could have been a test of a new US Air Force aircraft. However, no concrete information about this suspicious object has been revealed, leaving it a mystery. This story was shared by an anonymous airplane passenger on social media. According to him, the incident occurred in 2023. The plane had successfully taken off from Glasgow and was en route to London. About 15 minutes into the flight, the man noticed an unusual object in the sky gradually ascending. At first, he thought it was a plane or a drone, but when the flying object reached the same altitude as the airplane, he realized it was something else. The object resembled the classic flying saucers we often imagine. It continued to ascend before disappearing from the man's view. Interestingly, 2 weeks before this, another passenger on the same route reported seeing a similar object shortly after takeoff. Was it a coincidence, or did the two individuals conspire to fabricate this story? In the past 15 years, more than 5,500 UFO sightings have been reported in the UK, making it the third highest country in the world for UFO sightings. Of course, this doesn't mean aliens visited the UK in all these cases. Most UFOs were identified, but over 1,000 remain a mystery. Despite thousands of people witnessing strange flying objects each year, governments worldwide continue to deny any contact with extraterrestrials. In 2020, a passenger on a flight departing from Spain managed to capture a genuine alien spacecraft approaching the airplane. On board that day were over 150 people whose safety was at serious risk. The pilots also noticed the flying saucer approaching their plane and did everything they could to avoid a collision. The airplane banked sharply to the side, causing severe turbulence. Panic erupted among the passengers, who had no idea what was happening. However, after the pilots successfully avoided the collision and stabilized the aircraft, they reassured passengers that everything was fine. This incident is far from the only dangerous encounter between passenger planes and UFOs. We only know the stories with happy endings, where pilots manage to avoid crashes with unknown flying objects. But consider this: many aviation accidents have unknown causes. What if they occurred after encounters with UFOs? Such questions have been repeatedly raised by US citizens to their government, as these stories threaten flight safety. However, authorities continue to assure people that UFOs are unrelated to aliens and pose no serious danger to airplanes. If the government truly believes this, there shouldn't be any UFO monitoring. Yet there is. Moreover, in 2024, the US resumed an active hunt for any unidentified flying objects. The president even issued an order to shoot down such devices as soon as they appear in the sky. This inconsistency in statements and actions raises suspicions and causes many people to doubt the government's claims that alien ships are not present on Earth. South Korea is one of the few countries where reports of UFO sightings are rare. The number of such cases can be counted on one hand, and one of them happened quite recently. A passenger on a Beijing-Seoul flight was enjoying the stunning views of South Korea's mountain ranges. Suddenly, he noticed another unidentified object flying at a lower altitude, almost parallel to the airplane. The man quickly grabbed his smartphone to record what he saw. He posted the footage on a popular video sharing platform. He had no idea the video would gain so many views and spark thousands of opinions about the object. However, viewers were divided into two groups. Some were fully convinced that the footage showed an extraterrestrial flying craft, while others believed it could have been a bird, a parachute, or a large quadcopter. Unfortunately, the video's author was unable to determine what he saw during his flight. The author of this video was caught off guard when an unknown flying object appeared in his shot while filming the scenery from a plane. What was it? No one knows. According to him, he was simply enjoying the beautiful views out the window when a black UFO suddenly passed near the plane. It was flying at high speed, seemingly targeting the passenger aircraft. It's frightening to imagine what might have happened if the plane's pilot hadn't reacted promptly to the unexpected threat. This incident occurred in 2022 during a Ryanair flight from the Netherlands to Spain. The video's author wasn't the only one to witness the black object. Other passengers and crew members also saw it. Upon arrival in Spain, the crew reported the incident to the Dutch police, and an investigation was launched. According to the investigation, the Ryanair plane encountered the black object shortly after takeoff At an altitude of about 1,300 meters, the UFO was just 20 meters from the passenger plane, moving at over 370 kilometers per hour toward it. Thanks to the pilot's actions, a collision was avoided. Despite the investigation, the black object couldn't be identified. Authorities speculated it might have been a drone, but eyewitnesses were convinced it was an extraterrestrial flying craft. In 2022, passengers on a flight from Bogotá to Salento witnessed an extraordinary event, and one of them accidentally captured it on camera. According to the man, he was filming a few videos of his flight. At first, there was nothing unusual visible through the window. Then, amidst the thick white clouds, a UFO appeared. It was relatively small and oval-shaped, with a shiny silver surface resembling steel. The flying object moved at the same speed as the plane, as if its pilots were deliberately following the passenger aircraft and wanted to be noticed. Eyewitnesses claimed the suspicious flying object stopped several times, hovered in midair, and performed incredible maneuvers. None of the passengers had ever seen anything like it. Many admitted they were terrified of a potential collision, while others confessed that the experience made them believe in aliens, even though they were previously skeptical. The crew also noticed the strange flying craft, but tried to ignore it to avoid alarming the passengers. The object's identity remains unknown. It could have been an experimental aircraft, the latest weather drone, or an alien spacecraft. Most people aboard the flight lean toward the latter explanation. In 2022, a U.S. Air Force fighter pilot experienced an unusual incident. While returning to base from a training exercise, a mysterious object resembling an alien flying saucer appeared near his jet. According to the pilot, the UFO seemed to materialize out of nowhere and was not detected by the base's radar. The flying object approached the jet, but the pilot remained calm. He had to perform several maneuvers to avoid a collision. As he neared the base, the UFO vanished just as suddenly as it had appeared. The pilot could not explain what had happened. He described seeing the unidentified object close to his jet, although moments earlier, nothing unusual had occurred. The UFO emitted a strong glow and moved at very high speed. Interestingly, the pilot lost the ability to communicate with the base when the UFO appeared, as if the mysterious object was attempting to disable the fighter jet. This story further supports the idea that aliens frequently visit our planet and might even be responsible for some aviation accidents. On March 21, 2012, a mysterious incident occurred in Dallas, Texas, which became the subject of local debate. On that day, a UFO was spotted in the sky over the city. It moved at a fantastic speed, making it difficult for many to notice. However, attentive residents not only saw the mysterious object, but also managed to capture it on camera. Some people speculated that it could have been a new U.S. Air Force aircraft. Still, pay attention to the speed at which this object moved. To even get a glimpse of its shape, the video had to be significantly slowed down. Even then, it moved extremely fast. The theory that it could be an experimental military aircraft might hold some truth, as humans have learned to build hypersonic flying machines. For instance, the fastest manned one to date is the North American X-15, an experimental rocket plane capable of speeds over 8,200 kilometers per hour. However, the object captured in this footage does not resemble an aircraft at all, and looks more like an extraterrestrial flying vehicle. The author of this photo is named Mark. In 2023, he was returning home to the UK from Norway by plane. During the flight, the weather was beautiful, and he was enjoying the clear sky and white clouds. However, as the plane began descending, he noticed a real alien flying saucer right outside his window. It was hard to believe, so Mark decided to capture the sight on his smartphone. He initially tried to record a video, but his phone refused to function. He then switched to photo mode. He managed to take only one picture before his phone suddenly shut down, even though the battery was at 94% moments earlier. Surprisingly, Mark couldn't turn his phone on for an entire week after returning home. He tried every charger he had, but none worked. Finally, when he managed to power it up, he hurried to share his unique photo online. Interestingly, many people who have encountered UFOs report that their electronic devices stop working during the event. Thus, it's not surprising that Mark's smartphone experienced this issue. A passenger on a flight to London spotted a strange object among the clouds through the window. Shocked by what he saw, the man decided to capture it on his smartphone. However, after he posted the video, some users doubted the authenticity of the footage. Some of these skeptics were convinced the man used special video editing tools to add an alien spacecraft to the clip. Of course, it might seem strange that only one passenger noticed the flying object, but the video's author insisted he had no reason to deceive anyone. He claimed he simply wanted to share what he had seen and ask others for their opinion about the object in the clouds. Other users believed the man. They argued that it could indeed be an alien spacecraft, as it had a disc shape with several bright spotlights in the center. Interestingly, a week after this incident, a passenger on another flight reported seeing a similar object in the clouds near London. Thus, it's possible the video's author genuinely witnessed an alien spacecraft. The author of this video witnessed a mysterious and even frightening incident. That day, while driving home on the highway, he noticed a passenger plane flying overhead. At first, there was nothing unusual about it. However, directly above the plane, there was something else flying. This object was difficult to make out because it was smaller than the passenger plane, but it emitted an incredibly bright light. Viewers who watched the video began asking questions. What happened that day? What was flying above the passenger plane? Was it a drone or some other flying object? The video garnered numerous comments, with people sharing their opinions. Some genuinely believed it could have been an extraterrestrial spacecraft, while others were convinced it had no connection to alien civilizations. Surprisingly, the video was filmed near Canberra, the capital of Australia. The city's residents were intrigued and amazed by the footage, as many of them wished to see a UFO with their own eyes. Thanks to the internet, we can share with strangers the most unusual events and phenomena captured on camera. Sometimes, such news becomes incredibly popular, sparking discussions among thousands of people. This is exactly what happened to 22-year-old Christina Emmanuel. In one of her social media posts, Christina shared a video she took during her flight from Brisbane to Melbourne. 45 minutes after takeoff, she decided to relax and look out the window. At that moment, she noticed a strange, dark object that initially appeared to be a cloud. However, as the object came closer to the plane, she realized it was something else. Christina woke her friend, asking him to look out the window as well. The young man also saw the elongated black object. He advised Christina to record it on her phone and post the video online. In the footage, the object resembled a mysterious creature that seemed to be trying to emerge from the clouds. According to Christina, the phenomenon was visible for 5 minutes before disappearing suddenly. What was it? None of the users who watched the video could provide a definitive answer. In January 2024, passengers and crew of a plane flying between Texas and Iowa witnessed an extraordinary anomaly. They saw and captured on camera a mysterious glowing object at an altitude of about 10,000 meters. It didn't resemble anything known, not an airplane nor a spacecraft. It was unique, and its most remarkable feature was its ability to change shape. The object seemed to be following the passenger plane, as if it wanted to showcase its shape-shifting capabilities. Looking at the photos, many may find it hard to believe this UFO wasn't just another fabrication or hoax. However, the likelihood of its existence is high, since several residents of Waterloo reported seeing the same object from their homes. Ufologists believe that the witnesses encountered not an alien spacecraft, but a being from another world. This would explain why it didn't resemble a plane or spacecraft and why it could change its shape. Interestingly, similar shape-shifting objects have been spotted not only in the US, but also in Turkey and Brazil. During flights, attentive passengers sometimes notice strange anomalies and objects in the sky. This doesn't happen often, but you can still find videos of such incidents online. For example, in March 2024, during a landing in Zurich, a passenger of Singapore Airlines captured a suspicious object in the sky on his smartphone. He was shocked by what he saw and decided to share the footage. The video begins with beautiful Swiss landscapes, but then something unknown flew past the plane at incredible speed. Following this, the plane began to tilt, causing panic among the passengers. Fortunately, the pilot managed to regain control, stabilize the aircraft, and make a successful landing. Some viewers speculated that it might have been a drone or an ordinary bird, but most were convinced it was an alien spacecraft. According to them, birds and drones cannot fly at such speeds and are unlikely to have caused the plane to tilt. Despite the object remaining unidentified, the most important thing is that its appearance did not lead to a tragic disaster. Most UFO sightings involve white, blue, or green lights, but apparently they can also glow bright pink. Such an unidentified object was spotted in January 2024 by Denise Tenas, a stewardess for the low-cost airline Wizz Air. On that day, the plane was flying from the UK to Poland. According to Denise, the plane was flying over Poland after sunset. She was struck by the beautiful view from the window and decided to capture it on her smartphone. At the time, she didn't notice anything unusual. However, when she returned home and showed the video to her husband, they both noticed a strange object glowing bright pink in the footage. The stewardess contacted the pilots to ask if they had seen the pink object. They said they hadn't, and the video surprised them. Denise concluded that it was an alien spacecraft. Although she had previously been skeptical of UFO news, this incident changed her mind. The author of this video is an amateur filmmaker, and for this footage, no script was needed. According to the man, he was lucky to witness what appeared to be an alien spacecraft flying near an airplane. Of course, the filmmaker couldn't resist capturing the event, but unfortunately, he didn't have a professional camera on hand, so he used his smartphone instead. The plane and the flying object were at a significant altitude, forcing the man to use maximum zoom on his phone's camera. This resulted in very poor video quality. Despite this, the filmmaker was hopeful that his footage would serve as direct evidence of alien presence on Earth. Initially, he showed the video to his friends. However, they noted that due to the poor quality, it was difficult to identify what the object was. The man then decided to upload the video online. Viewers agreed that the footage was too unclear to definitively identify the flying object. It could be an alien spacecraft or something of terrestrial origin. During a flight from Los Angeles, California to Lima, Peru, a passenger noticed a strange glow outside the plane window. Initially, he thought it might be another airplane, but then he realized it was something else, as the lights were unusually large. The man decided to capture this phenomenon on camera. After posting the video online, he asked for help from other users in identifying the glow. However, most people couldn't determine what it was. It could have been a natural phenomenon or an experimental aircraft. At the same time, the object might have been sent by aliens. Almost all witnesses of flying saucers have noted that alien ships are always equipped with bright spotlights. For this reason, unidentified flying objects emitting intense light often become a topic of discussion. Most new UFO sightings are reported by the US Navy and Air Force, but sometimes ordinary people, like this airplane passenger, also witness such glowing objects. Unfortunately, most of these incidents remain mysteries, as no one manages to identify the objects. In May 2021, passengers on a flight departing from Greece witnessed an anomalous phenomenon that might be linked to aliens. That day, Many people on board noticed several lights near the right wing of the airplane. These glowing spheres changed colors and appeared to dance around the aircraft. Interestingly, in 2024, a similar phenomenon was observed by the crew and passengers of a Boeing 747 over Egypt. Footage from both incidents was posted online, sparking heated discussions. Users speculated about what these mysterious lights over Greece and Egypt could have been. Some suggested it might have been a natural anomaly, while others believed the lights were caused by satellites. There were also theories about meteors from the Perseids. However, pilots from both planes disagreed, arguing that the lights had erratic trajectories and changed colors, which is not typical for meteors. It's possible the lights were emitted by alien spacecraft. Unfortunately, none of these theories have been proven. In April 2024, a surprising incident occurred with a passenger named Michelle Reyes. This story began when, during a flight departing from New York, Michelle noticed a UFO outside the airplane window. She spent a long time trying to figure out what kind of flying object it was, but only one thought kept coming to mind. It was an alien spacecraft. Understanding that no one would believe her story, she decided to capture the event on camera. Michelle then informed a flight attendant about the strange object outside, and the attendant also saw the UFO through the window. In the photos and videos Michelle provided, a small, round object is clearly visible moving at high speed near the airplane. Interestingly, the passenger plane's safety systems did not detect the object, and the pilots only learned about the UFO thanks to Michelle. This raises the question of whether alien spacecraft have the ability to remain undetected by systems even at close range. When the pilots learned about the incident, they decided not to change course since there was very little time left until landing. Fortunately, the story ended well. The plane landed successfully, and everyone was safe. However, Michelle decided to speak out and figure out what the object she saw in the sky was. A few days later, Michelle sent a request to the airline, attaching photos of the UFO. She never received a response, so she shared the images and video online, hoping others could help her identify the object. Of course, no one could provide a definitive explanation. However, the publication of her photos drew media attention. Michelle's story was featured in the New York Post, after which the airline promised to investigate the incident. But as of yet, Michelle has not received any answers. And that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Your support is the best reward for me. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.